Hello, my name is David Harris of the American Jewish Committee. I'm speaking to you from Berlin, the capital of Germany. Just behind me you'll probably recognize the Brandenburg Gate, the iconic 18th century neoclassical architecture. Across the way is the American Embassy, and just in front of me the French Embassy, the two most important relationships for Germany today. As a Jew, each time I come to Berlin I feel surrounded 360 degrees by Jewish history, especially 20th century history. Through the gate is the Tiergarten, the major park of Berlin. In that park, a young boy used to go and play on the weekends. He used to dream about one day becoming a scientist or an engineer. And then shortly after the Nazis arrived, there were signs on the benches in that park, "Für Juden verboten." Jews could no longer sit on those designated benches. That boy was my father. On this side is the Reichstag, the German parliament. In 1933, Hitler became the Chancellor of Germany. 2 months later, on March the 23rd, 1933, in that Reichstag, in that parliament, an overwhelming majority of members chose to give Hitler what was called the Enabling Act. All the powers to bypass the parliament, to take full control of the country. And indeed, he did. Within a week, he already announced a boycott of Jewish stores and businesses for those Jews living in Berlin, the 160,000 Jews and the roughly 600,000 Jews throughout Germany. If I look in that direction, instead, you'll find the headquarters of the SS, the Gestapo, the killing squads of the Einsatzgruppen, within walking distance, and even closer in that direction, the bunker, where Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun killed themselves on the eve of the end of the war. And if I walk in this direction, that is east, again a short walk, I'll come to Babelplatz. It's a beautiful square, but for me the most important part of the square is a little window in the roadway. And if you look in the window, you'll see empty shelves. The symbolism by an Israeli artist of the burning of the books by the Nazis on May the 10th, 1933. And a very powerful quote of Heinrich Heine, the German Jewish poet of the 19th century, who said in 1820, 113 years before the Nazis took power in this country, "Those who burn books will one day burn people." How right, how tragically prophetic he was. So the history is everywhere in this city. And there are lessons to be learned that were not only true then, but are true now. Appeasement did not work in the 1930s. The Allied nations could have stopped Hitler earlier, but they didn't. The Jewish community largely had a failure of imagination, and so did many others, about the true nature of Hitler and what he would do. Yes, he had said it all. Yes, he had written about it. But would he actually do it? Many said no. And there were even those in the parliament who, giving Hitler the power, believed they could still control Hitler when he turned on them and destroyed them as well. Those were lessons then. They're lessons now. But history didn't end in 1945. Then came the Cold War, the era in which I grew up, and the Brandenburg Gate became the symbol of the division between East and West, between tyranny and freedom. And how many of us will remember the speeches of John Kennedy in this city, and then of Ronald Reagan when he said to President Gorbachev, "Tear down this wall, Mr. President." And that wall came down in 1989. And by 1990, the Brandenburg Gate was no longer the symbol of the division between East and West. It became a unifier. Each and every time I walk through that gate, I still pinch myself. Berlin is one. Germany is one. And this country today is a key partner of the United States, an anchor of European stability, an essential ally of Israel, the home of a growing Jewish community that some 30 years ago was 30,000 or so, and today is over 200,000. Yes, Germany faces a problem of anti-Semitism, as do other countries, including the United States. But this time, Germany is on our side. This government is not putting signs on those benches for Juden verboten. This government is standing for the promotion of Jewish life and the end of anti-Semitism. So history can be extraordinarily painful. It's scarring. It certainly was for my family and for so many Jews. But being in Berlin today, seeing this open city, knowing of the vibrancy of Jewish life, including an American Jewish Committee office now here for more than 20 years, there's reason for hope, and hope we must.